Hello, and welcome to Mattwo's Random Analysis, where instead of reviewing, overviewing, or retrospecting on things as a whole, I take certain aspects of things and analyze them. Today we'll be looking at one of my personal favorite fictional holidays, Brewfest, a holiday in the world of Azeroth that takes place between September 20th to October 6th. As the name and timing imply, it's based on the Bavarian holiday Oktoberfest. That's October with a K because it's German, which is held annually in Bavaria's capital of Munich. Though cities around the world have also held Oktoberfest celebrations. By the way, don't expect to hear too much German in this video because a lot of German words are really hard for me to pronounce. As it so happens, the Munich Oktoberfest originally took place during the 16 days up to and including the first Sunday in October, which is the same amount of days Brewfest happens. Though the schedule for Oktoberfest was eventually modified a few times, and it's now open up to 17 days, and the first Sunday is October 7th, and 18 days when it's October 1st. Oktoberfest is known for being the world's largest Volksfest, or beer festival, combined with traveling fun fair. And indeed, as the name suggests, Brewfest is a beer festival, though the fair part is by and large missing, as we already have the Dark Moon Fair in World of Warcraft, especially after Cataclysm made it into a proper fair. Also worth noting is that the dwarves are the ones who are holding the Brewfest festivities on the Alliance side. The dwarves happen to have a lot of Scottish culture associated with them, as well as Scottish accents, which I might get into another time, but the reason I bring this up now is because the Scottish are well known for their drinking habits, something that dwarves are also equally well known for.
I'm drunk!
However, I'm not really sure why the trolls and neutral goblins are the ones in charge of Brewfest on the Horde side, but some of the goblins are wearing dwarf masks, and one was wearing a gnome mask for some reason, but this is basically why none of the footage you're seeing is coming from the Horde side. That said, knowing the goblins, they probably heard of Brewfest and sought to profit from it, much like Coca-Cola did with Santa. One of the notable traits of a Volksfest is the tent set up by the beer company sponsors where they all sell traditional food and festibeer, which is beer specially brewed for the season. While Brewfest follows these traits, the festibeer apparently comes in the form of the membership to Brew of the Month Club, from which you can get beer year-round instead of just at Brewfest. The traditional food at Oktoberfest usually includes roast chicken, roast pork, grilled ham hock, grilled fish on a stick, sausages, pretzels, potato bread dumplings, cheese noodles, raberdachi, potato pancakes, I don't know what that is, sauerkraut or red cabbage, along with such Bavarian stuff such as Obatsta and Weisswurst, which is basically what you'd think it would be, white sausage. However, food items exclusive to Brewfest include a pretzel, spiced onion cheese, and several sausages, most notable of which being the Golden Link. It's almost as though they were trying to make it stereotypically German without looking into what kind of food they're actually supposed to have. But that's okay. They got a lot of other things right, after all. Just before Oktoberfest is declared open, at noon, the Lord Mayor of Munich will open the first beer barrel with the exclamation that translates to, "It's tapped." This is a tradition known as the tapping of the keg. In Brewfest, however, this event is held at 6:15 twice daily every day of the event. Plus, it's the Gnome King who does it on the Alliance scene and Vol'jin, leader of the Dark Spirit Trolls, who does it on the Horde side. Even though the event is hosted just outside of the dwarf and orc capital cities. Additionally, instead of simply tapping the keg and saying, "It's tapped," each of these characters will deliver a short speech, with the Alliance giving one more befitting of a Thanksgiving speech crossed with an infomercial pitch. didn't have the keg, though they both do announce that it's tapped and then give a quick toast. Sadly, I don't have any footage of this due to the limited amount of time when it happens. While most of the Brewfest doesn't really have much connection to Oktoberfest, there are still a few more cultural allusions, such as Pink Elecs, which is a reference to the phrase seeing pink elephants, which is a euphemism for drunken hallucinations, which is of course also the basis for the infamous pink elephants on parade scene from Dumbo, which happened after Dumbo had his drinking water spiked with champagne. The see-through goggles are a reference to beer goggles, which refers to drunk people that were seeing people more visually appealing while they're drunk. The see-through goggles, on the other hand, just simulate drunkenness, and in World of Warcraft, this particular aspect of drunkenness is not portrayed at all. And lastly, we also have the recently added Brewhelm helmet visual enhancement. It's a beer helmet. It's kind of on the nose there. I'm sure there are other things I'm missing, but World of Warcraft is full of cultural allusions, and if I try to find all of them, this video would probably wind up being too long. But feel free to look for them yourself next time Brewfest rolls around. Until next time, stay tuned.